This story goes like this. If you might remember, we kept the bigger Wallago attu, the freshwater shark catfish, in this tank. He spent in this tank, I want to say about half a year or maybe more, 8 months. Grew very well, ate well. Then 3 days ago he ate a fire eel, the smallest one, out of the blue. But I guess I was asking for it. He could have eaten. He couldn't have eaten it. He could have eaten it half a year ago. So he's done pretty good by that standard. But now we have 3 fire eels, the bigger ones left, and 3 tire tracks in here. But anyhow, he ate the fire eel. I let him digest for a day and took him out of here and put him in the 300-gallon tank. He was getting uncomfortable here anyway. It was getting to be about as long as the tank is wide. And he was, oftentimes I see him trying to swim through the glass. Overall, they're very, very nervous fish. As some of you wrote to me from your own experience, they're very nervous, they're jumpers. They're hard to keep that way. But I really, really underestimated their nervousness. This is a smaller one. It's probably about a couple inches behind. Also very nervous. He lived in this tank. Then in the one behind where the biters are. And now he landed here. And the one that I placed in the 300-gallon tank, which has a footprint of 5 by 4, a much friendlier footprint by 2 for a bigger fish than an 8 by 2 of the 240-gallon. He was hard to catch. I'll put him here. He was hard to catch, and I mean, he was probably gave me 10-15 minute chasing it around. Kept jumping. He was also the one that had broken jaws. At least the very tip of his jaws were broken from jumping. So I placed him here yesterday, about 24 hours ago. Then when I came at night, he was jumping around here too. So that piece of pipe with a screen on it was laying on the bottom, and his nose was all banged up. So I knew he was jumping in here too, and I thought it odd. I mean, he's been already here for half a day. And this morning I come out, I don't see him in the tank. So apparently he was jumping all night. Occasionally. And there he is. He jumped out. Right through here. Those are very strong clamps. He dislodged them and jumped out. That's the story of this silly fish, or my silly keeping of this fish. Let's clean him up, wash him up, and take a better look at him, measure him, and go from there. So here's about, I want to say about a year, maybe a year and a half. I have to check my records, but I think it's a year. So all in all, I'd say 22 inches. So not bad for a year at all. Huge, formidable teeth. You put your finger in there, you cannot take it out. It catches on your skin and cuts it. But anyhow, he kept jumping all day long. I just never had a fish like that would keep jumping for a day, trying to get out of the tank. That's good for it. Even better than the one it came from. It actually broke its jaw in half. Oh, you can see that. His jaw is just broken right here, see? Maybe it was a final blow when it hit the concrete floor, but or maybe he broke it still in there. But he kept jumping and jumping and bumping his nose, and see how turned up the bottom jaw is, and this one is smashed in. That's from before, and he just added a lot of damage to it by not wanting to stay in the tank that I put him into. Ouch. You see how his teeth are all facing inward. At a steep angle, they go inside. So once it catches something, it cannot get out. And that's his jaw broken in half again. Anyhow, that's I personally, doesn't mean they're not out there, but I personally never seen a large Wallago attu in anybody's hands. I never came across a photo or an account of it. So I'm thinking that's why. Because they're such a bad jumpers that they just kill themselves way before they can grow to any kind of size. So his brother or sister, whatever, she's probably a little bit smaller, or it is a little bit smaller. It always had a better contrast of darker base color and the mottled lighter spots on it. But it's the same way. I mean, at least it wasn't jumping all day. When I rehomed it here, it was still nervous. Even a day later, when I opened the lid, it started trying to swim through the bottom erratically. So I gave it another 2 days to come down, and then in 3 days it started feeding, no problem. Yesterday it ate 2 very large herring. Well, that's the story of the day. Another hurt. Another day. Tough lessons. So just to reiterate, I guess, iterate. I've never met with a fish that wouldn't settle for 24 hours in a new feeding tank. Again, this guy was kind of the same, not to the same extent probably, and it was very hard for it to jump out of the glass covered tank. So I was actually happy for the other attu, because its tank was covered by a soft mesh, so I thought it wouldn't damage itself too much. But instead it found a way to break through and kill itself. But anyhow, I've never met a fish that wouldn't settle for a day and in a feeding tank and kept hurting itself and trying to jump out. Not a arowana, not even African tigerfish, not brachyplatystoma like the capopredum or Rossiaxii, the Dorado catfish, and the capopredum false Piraiba catfish. I'm giving you the examples of the most skittish fish I've ever had. These guys, the attus, I guess, they pale in comparison to what attu is capable of. Reminds me of people who argue that with some fish it's better to just put them in the forever home straight away when you get them at a few inches. Put them in a 30,000 gallon tank, so that way you don't ever have to move them and you stand a better chance of keeping them alive. It looks like attu, the Wallago attu, freshwater shark catfish, is one of such fish. These wounds on the snout are from this fish being rehomed 2 weeks ago. I moved it from its other tank rather intact. There's just a little scuff on the upper jaw, and the rest of it was self-inflicted in this tank. And it was, you know, like, it was moving very quickly, trying to swim through the bottom. And I didn't see it, but it was probably also trying to jump. But at least this guy has not bent his jaws, the tips of the jaws, much at all, or very little.